Probably. My head's cut off. Ah, okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Should be good. And I cranked my sound up, so if I'm too loud, please let me know. Or if I'm still too soft, please let me know. So that should be good. Okay, cool. That was weird to do, by the way. I expected that to be an OBS, but apparently you have to change it on the device itself. And yeah, interesting. I've never had to do that before, so we'll see if that fixed it. It does look like I'm putting out a lot more sound now, so should be good. Should be good. Should be good. So we'll see. Okay, so what do we got today? Well, from yesterday, I primed our 70s porn star guys with their huge mustaches. So, yeah, I primed these late last night. And I figured maybe we'd work on a couple of these. A couple of these homies with their weird pointy helmets and their big poofy hair. I like the guy with the axe. He's cool. I like that guy too, because he's like all chainmail. That will make him easier to print. And then I've got these. So these are objective tokens from One Page Rules, specifically from their like Void Stalker line or something like that. It's their equivalent of like Night Elves, and honestly, they're like a million times cooler than Night Elves are, because they're kind of like weird, kind of darkness gremlins. There's a support I left on there. Yeah, and they uh, lived in like this darkness realm, and then humanity figured out how to open it up, and now they're like, "Yo, bro, stay the fuck out my house." And yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're gonna work on those two, and we're gonna work on our Danes from yesterday. So it's a holiday, so I figured I would stream. So, first off, we got some rough iron here um, from Army Painter. And I figure what I'm going to do is apparently make a mess of this paint first off. Um, there we go. I figure what I'm going to do is I'll kind of just like pick a color and we'll do like one or two things in that color on these loot tokens, and then we'll just pick another color like that. And when I get to a color that I want to do part of the Danes in, um, I will put it on the Danes too. And I figured I would just kind of go around like that. So I don't have any of these kind of like Night Stalker-esque people printed out. They're really cool. I should print them out. They're awesome, awesomely cool models. Really cool, like kind of gribbly, kind of creepy crawly monsters, and then like very big like evil cultist vibes from the other ones. Um, and there's some like ghosts and stuff. Like they very much hit a lot of different like kind of like appeals, I think. So um, I should print them out. They're really neat, but yeah. But since I don't have a color scheme for them, I'm just gonna kind of paint these as generic loot tokens because I thought they looked kind of cool and fantasy-y. Um, because they're like weird kind of magic artifact looking things and some pots and like broken swords and stuff. So Yeah, so hopefully we'll get these like completely done. That's my goal for today. Like with um like texture paste and everything. We won't get because I'll probably hit these with a little bit of grass too, but we won't get to that stuff today just because the texture paste will take too long to dry. But I at least want to get to the texture paste stuff with these. That's part of the model, but it's just a support. Yank that off. And then we'll pick like one or two of the Dane guys to paint too. All right, let's get a chainmail color going. Hello. Hopefully I am louder today. Um, I jumped my sound up pretty high, so hopefully I am louder today. Please let me know if I am not. Oh, there you go. So this is just a chainmail color. Really any kind of generic pseudo silver will work. Um, I think we'll go ahead. I think we'll do this guy that's almost entirely covered in silver because he's got a whole bunch of chainmail on. So we'll do him. And then we'll do one of the other guys that has less chainmail, maybe. Yeah, it's my filament got here today, which is really nice. So I can finally print out the 40 mil bases for some of the other models that I'm multi-basing, like the zombies. Um, so, because I'm going to multi-base these guys too, I think they'll look really cool. So they'll get multi-based like this. Ooh. Yeah. I'm so worried about breaking the goddamn spears on these guys. That's one of the reasons I want to multi-base them, is I think they'll be more robust. To be honest. So they actually have like detailed wooden shield backs. I'm going to ignore that. I know some people really like having detailed shield backs. That's like a weird thing that some people like. I don't really care. So I'm just going to paint the whole shield like it's metal. Because it's one of those things that like nobody's ever going to see. And I don't really have a color scheme for these guys. I was thinking maybe I would, because I don't really have a lot of like livery stuff on them. So I was thinking maybe I would paint them up, and then I'll do this guy. Yeah, that guy's cool. Um, and then come back and maybe do some colors like on top of the metal, like it's kind of like kind of been like haphazardly painted on or kind of like scratched on. I think that could be kind of cool. So like maybe I'll pick like a couple different colors and then do the like everybody's shields in those kind of thing. I think this curse is supposed to be padded and not metal. It could be different metal plates all put together though. I think it's supposed to be padded though, so we're going to treat it like it's padded because I think that's what it's supposed to be. And let's see, I need one more. You'll do. Yeah. Yeah, let's get one. Let's get a guy with stupid hair. I don't know why these Danes have such like big like poofy hair and poofy mustaches. They're definitely very like 1970s kind of silly looking. I mean, it's probably historically accurate, right? Victrix does an amazing job with it. But since I'm using these for like fantasy, it kind of looks like this is going to be like the porn empire, right? Like their boss is going to be um that guy with the big dong who got arrested for sexual abusing people. What is his name? Jeremy something. There we go. Locking in some more colors there. Let's see, this one's got a sword too. Yeah, I said a while ago I would do these tokens. Um, and then I just never did. To be honest, I lost a lot of steam on 3D printing for a little while. Um, so these tokens were kind of actually just sitting on the 3D printer, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's true. But there we go. Yeah, so uh, not particularly happy about that, but I pulled through it and got it all back set up and everything, which is great. Excuse me. Um, so this is worn stone. Um, I just want some kind of like, I don't know, kind of like dull pottery color to do all the pottery. A lot of like advanced civilizations, or like more advanced ones, ancient civilizations, actually had really like bright color pottery and stuff, but these are going to get a brown base, like a brown texture paste base. So the white pottery will stand out nicely on it, to be honest. So what I might, maybe what I'll do is I'll hit parts of the pottery with some what is that called, contrast paint or something after we do the white. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. We will see where it goes. All right. Beautiful. Yeah, I intended to do these forever ago, and then they had a mishap printing, and then I reprinted them, and honestly just lost steam, and they kind of lived on the 3D printer for a while. You really shouldn't leave stuff on your 3D printer just sitting there. I mean, technically, the shield, if you have a resin printer, will block like almost all of the UV. So it's not really gonna like cure on there, but still, you still don't want to do that. Also, you probably shouldn't leave resin in your reservoir, but I've never really had trouble with that, to be honest. Um, I know a lot of people have, but I never have. I just like remix it. So I just like take something and stir the resin around, and it seems to work fine after that, to be honest. And then going through and stippling in some color on these shields, because I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be like these guys have painted it on there, kind of did an ass job, and maybe it's chipped away a little bit over time. I'm thinking everyone's going to get kind of a white part of their shield, and then maybe like another one or two other colors. I don't know if the Danes would actually have had this like swirly kind of Viking pattern, but to be honest, I think it looks cool. So I'm assuming that Victrix actually has historically accurate, what are they called? Transfers, if you want them from Little Big Man Studios. But as a person that knows jack about the Danes and really like this whole era of history, um, I don't really care because these are going to be like fantasy foot troops for me, you know. Ron Jeremy, that's his name. Thank you, thank you. Well, I guess Jeremy something. All right, so let's see. Let's get some clothing for these guys. All right, we'll do this guy's jacket in brown. The ones that are wearing cloth and not, what's it called? I could do a like matching cloth color on them. But these guys don't really seem like the kind of like chivalry kind of knights. These guys kind of seem like, I don't know, like cheapo mercenaries, to be honest. They don't seem like the kind of guys that would have like, like big fancy heraldry and titles and like these guys kind of seem like a bunch of shitheads that you would pick up at like, I don't know, Home Depot or something and go like raid your neighbor with them. It's kind of what they seem like. I probably just offended everyone that knows anything about the Danes, but gear wise, that's kind of what they're like to me in like a fantasy setting. Like these guys wouldn't be bandits because their gear is not like disheveled enough to be bandits, but they wouldn't be like the nice kingsmen either. They would be like, you know, the additional mercenaries that your king hired to go to war kind of thing. That's what they really look like to me. Like they've got a little bit of kit, but they don't have like heraldry really. They don't have lots of like cool kind of like chivalrous knight stuff. I'll do this guy's cowl and brown. They're like the bandits that decided to go to like go straight, instead of being bandits anymore, they just became mercenaries kind of thing. These guys don't even really have like, I don't know, the personality I'd expect of like town guards. right? There are, in my brain at least, a lot more like, pseudo bandity, I guess. Like that one step up. And I've got a little more brown, so I'm just using it up. Also, probably to give a historical person a heart attack, but I'm gonna paint a couple of these guys to have darker skin too, because they're supposed to be like fantasy minis. So like maybe that guy can have darker skin, and just pick a couple of them out, kind of. All right, so let's do tan next. So this is khaki from Vallejo. Um, any kind of tan color would really work, right? I just want something that kind of, I don't know, it looks like, uh, I don't know, like a burlap color, I guess is kind of what I want. In this guy's case, it's going to be his pants that are going to get this. And I'm just kind of randomly picking the colors here, like colors that I think look good for sort of like the feeling I'm getting from these guys. There's not really any like particular rhyme or reason to them. They just kind of embody the feeling I'm getting from these dudes more than anything. Like when I think about kind of this tier of like, I don't know, kind of trashy mercenary. Like I think a lot about like browns and tans and because they wouldn't have the bright colors like a knight would, right? Like, because that shit costs money and they don't got money. You know what I mean? This was like the kind of mercenary company that is sort of like living meal to meal. That's kind of the feeling I get from these guys. Like they might be pirates and pillagers if they owned a boat. You know what I mean? They're just that like one step above like the common like common like street bandit. It's gonna like attack people on the trade roads. This chainmail here might actually be padded on the underneath. Might actually have like a cloth lip to it. Um, Looking at some of the details, because there's really nice details on these minis. This is my first time painting a Victrix mini, by the way, so um, they're very nice. Details are very sharp and very well defined. Some good stuff. All right, let's see. We did that guy. We did that guy. This guy can get something in tan too. What can he get in tan? I guess I could do his pants in tan, but then everybody has brown and tan, so I don't want to do that. Yeah, we'll use the rest of that tan though, and we'll do this guy's pants. don't know. This guy's jerkin. Or I guess this guy has like leg wraps around the top of his boots. I guess we'll do those. Just get a little bit of color on there. For when I paint this guy later. There we go. Alright. Next up, I guess let's do some skin tones. Actually, let's pick something that will be one of these colors. So we'll break out some ash gray. So this is from War Paints as well. These Army Painter paints are just wonderful. And I think we'll do these kind of things that are filled with like jewels and gems and stuff. I think we'll do those in gray. And we'll do the stuff inside a really bright like green or blue or something, so that there is still something with some nice contrast to it. That kind of stands out. We could do it in gold, but I don't know. I think it'll be kind of neater looking if it's a brighter color. Oh, and also these are the, I did talk about this already, but I just want to mention it again. These are from One Page Rules, from their like Shadows, Stalker, or whatever line. They're like darkness elves that they have that aren't really elves. They're kind of like weird leech people. I mean, they're fucking dope as shit. But yeah, they're from that line. And then I actually scaled them down a little because I think by default they're supposed to be 40 mil. So that they just 100% carry over into, what is that called? Into like Age of Sigmar and stuff. I scaled them down and then I put them on top of these Warlord game bases. Hello! How's it? Yeah, his Warlord game bases are nice. For this kind of thing, right? Because they've got a little lip in there and it's pretty sweet. Alright, let's see. Ooh, Evergreen Fog. Yes, please. Oh, I guess I could paint some of these guys' stuff in the ash gray too. I guess that would also be a good color for them. So like I could, hold on, that's way too wet. I could do like this guy's pants in ash gray, for example. And that'll take a couple coats, but we can at least get it started now. And let's see, this guy, he's got this kind of padded hauberk. So we'll do this under this like under jacket thing. We'll do that in ash gray too. And then we'll do the padded hauberk and I don't know, maybe that one will do like a color, so there will be one guy that has like a little bit of livery. Sorry, I don't know the word for like for people when you dress people up to look like things. I don't know what that's called. Because on horses, I think it's called livery. I think. I could be wrong on that. I'm probably wrong, but I think that's what it's called. Like all the like fancy colored blankets and headpieces and everything you put on your horse when you're a knight. I think that's livery. And I'm assuming there's a different word for when it's people, not horses, but I don't know that for sure. So, yeah. Sure, I don't know. Okay, there we go. That's, oh, he was slightly out of focus. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's see. Let's do some evergreen fog. I love this color. This is from Army Painter. It's an absolute wonderful color. Go. And we'll do, there are these weird little like pot things. Um, kind of weird jar things. We'll do those in this color. And then we'll do one of the guy's shields in this color too. And this one also has a mask on it. I think we'll do the mask. Maybe we'll break out like a gold or something and do the mask in gold. Because I think there's some, yeah, there's some like jewelry and shit hanging off some of these. So we'll do those ones in gold too. Yeah, I don't know what this pot thing is. It kind of almost looks like a mine, to be honest. But there's also some broken pieces of like floor and stuff on these, but I'm gonna ignore those because once I put texture paint on these, you're never gonna see those. Like you're just not gonna see it. And then let's see, let's give this guy the green shield. There he goes. He's got a little bit of a scratchy kind of colored shield. Ta-da! Scratchy colored shield. Oh yeah. Okay, let's see. What do we got for this? We need to do touch-ups, and then we need that gold. So I guess let's start touch-ups. Because I'd like to get these all done so I can get them washed. And then we can do the texture paint. That's what I would like. Um, oh, that feels weird. Uh, when I shake the paints, my fucking new nose ring wiggles. That feels really weird. Okay, so livery is a uniform worn by servants. Okay, so it works for horses and people. Okay. I did not. I assumed there was a different word for people. Um, but I mean, it was the Middle Ages, so shit. People probably didn't have many more rights anyway. Oh no, 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 no. Livery is the word for people. Barding is the word for horses. Yes, yes, that's right. Barding is the word for horses. All these weird ass words that you are never going to use on an average day. If you use the words barding or livery in an average day, you must have a very interesting life. They're definitely not ones that come up often. Okay. Oh, I guess I could tap in the white on these some more too. Let's do that. And I'm getting it a little bit on the rim here and there, and that's fine. right? These are kind of quickly painted shields. They're if it's on the rim, that's I don't know, probably more fitting than if it wasn't, kind of thing. But I do want to make sure it's a little more opaque than it currently is. So go. But yeah, I'll be honest. There's a lot of miniatures for this period, like time period, like Dark Ages and stuff. I just don't have any idea about any of it. Like, I I don't know. I'm kind of shocked how little I know about this time period, to be honest. So this is Turquoise Siren. It's just the same color we used on the Bear Berserker from last week. Um, I'm gonna be super honest. I'm just fucking obsessed with this color right now. So we're gonna use it to paint in whatever the hell's in these pots and that mask. I think we'll do it with the mask as well. So I'm not sure if what's in these pots is supposed to be like gold and trinkets, or if it's supposed to be like ashes, and these are like some kind of like worshiping things. Because I think it could look either way, to be honest, the details that are in here. So I'm just going to paint them in this crazy blue. And that way there will be a nice piece of contrast for when we do the texture paint. I think this color is too bright though for those mercenaries, so we're not going to paint anything on the mercenaries in this color. I just think it's too bright, so probably should have gotten less of it out than I did. I got a lot of it out. But you know what? We'll just touch up some of the werewolves with it too, like we did last week. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just like random creepy ass mask. So the models that these come from have like a whole mask thing where like they wear multiple masks. And like the elders have them like stacked up on top of their heads. It's pretty cool. It's a really neat aesthetic. One Page Rules does a wonderful job with almost all their settings. We'll do another coat on Mr. Werewolf from last week. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think almost all the ranges from One Page Rules are wonderful. The only one I really don't like is their like Modern Orcs range. Because it's meant to be this like kind of like post-apocalyptic junker thing, but it also has like really strong Native American vibes. And I don't know, the designs just do not mesh in my mind. Because like pseudo Native American, like Mad Max and Max, just I don't know, something doesn't add up in my brain for those designs. Like I think a lot of the Native American stuff, I think when I see it, I associate it with being more naturey. So when these guys are not very naturey, um, I don't know, something about the design is just weird to me. Also, this is that Kit Bash guy, and if you want to see me Kit Bash him, I also have that video on the channel, though it is from a while ago. But I got too much of this blue out, and I don't want to waste it. There you go. So you can be Little Blue Riding Hood. Okay, let's see. I need a goldish color. Hold on. Apologies. Okay. This Wyvern Fury color, really cool color. Um, but it really needs a shake, so I had to hit the auto shaker for it. All right, let's get this little bit of gold out, and then we can call these guys ready for washes. So we'll give them a couple minutes to dry, and then we can wash them, and then we can texture paint them. Let's see, we'll just hit whatever the hell these things are in gold, like that. And then it's got some kind of chain. Hit that too. There we go. All right, cool. All right, and then let's see. That's that one all done. Let's hit the tops on these weird mine things, because they kind of have this like nipple on the top. There we go. Just so we get a little more color on all of these. There's a lot of detail here. I think you could like super go to town, but I think just having some like kind of simple looking objective markers I think is probably the best for me anyway. And I don't often make objective markers. I think the only other set I ever made was to play, what is that game called? The Napoleonic horror game. Shit. What is that called? It's a Joseph McCullough game. One of the expansions is called the Carpathians. There's an Egypt expansion. Shit, what is that game called? Fuck. The book is... Silver Bayonet. That's what it's called. Sorry, I had to go find the fucking book. Yeah, it's like a big brown book with a hardcover. Silver Bayonet. That's what it's called. I really wanted to like that game, but man, it did not. Me and it were not friends. I think I was trying to play it probably too much like an adventure game and not enough like a true horror game. So I think that's probably why it didn't gel with me. I would bet if I would go back and try playing it now, I'd probably like it with that mindset, right? The mindset that it's actually like a horror game because that's what it's supposed to be. I think I was trying to just play it too much like an adventure game because I was like, oh shit, my guys are getting wiped out and all, and I think it's probably the appeal of it is that happens, that kind of stuff happens, but I think I wanted something that it wasn't. I think if I were to go back to it today, I would probably enjoy what it is. All right, so we'll put these guys off to the side and let them dry a little, and then we'll hit them with washes, and we will continue work on our boys here. Okay, so this is a guy we said we were going to do a darker skin tone with. Yeah, I think we'll do Brigandine Brown. Or no, we'll do Mocha Skin. Brigandine Brown is very dark, and I think the washes will look stronger and better on him if he's a little bit lighter than that. To be honest, um, I just think the washes will stand out better. Yeah, the only parts of this guy that are flesh are like his face and his weird penis helmet. And then we got hit his mustache. Well, we'll do all the hair at the end, I think. I think the hair will be our last step. Okay. Nice. All right. That's that guy's skin. Because I got a lot of that out by accident, we're also going to keep using it. Because I really don't want to waste it, so we'll also make it this guy's clothes color. This is the monk guy that's supposed to be holding a banner, and then I punched the banner yesterday by accident and broke it. Yeah. His spear will still work for the banner, it's just not going to be as fancy and bannery anymore. Because I accidentally punched it. Go. Alright, just to get... Okay. Yeah, it probably drives people bonkers watching me use extra paint on other minis that we're not really painting, but I really don't want it to go to waste, you know? Alright, the other guys we're going to do in Command Khaki. This is a kind of a pinky, kind of like Caucasian skin tone. Um, I love this skin tone. It also makes great color for like soft tissues, like inside of mouths or like buttholes, that kind of stuff. And I think it's a really good kind of soft tissue color. Or like parts of wounds. I think it's very fitting. It's very good for that too. But I think it also makes a good Caucasian skin tone. Basically, I use this for a lot of things, this color. Most of this guy's face is facial hair, to be honest. These models actually have very little skin showing. There is a range of Gaelic warriors that are like totally naked, which is pretty dope. So I guess that was a thing that they did. I guess they went to battle naked and like covered themselves in paint. Which I mean, I don't know how that would work out for them, but it's kind of cool, you know? All right. Yeah, these Danes are probably not going to get washes today. So I'll probably wait until I do until I have a couple of them done, and then I'll probably do other washes. To be honest. So they'll probably not get washes today. But we can do washes and stuff on the other guys, so. Alright, let's do a couple more fun colors. And we'll break out this red. This is a really cool, kind of like slightly pinky red. Um, However, you really gotta fucking mix this one. Otherwise it covers like shit. So we'll do this guy's Halberg in it, and then that way one of these guys can have livery, even if the rest don't. It'll actually just help them break up and actually look more like a mob, to be honest. Because they will look less uniformed. Ironically, by having a little bit of uniform. Yeah, and as I'm painting this, I'm thinking this cuirass is actually supposed to be like metal plates. Like this is actually scale mail. But we'll keep it like a padded cuirass. I think that's fine. But I do think it's supposed to be scale mail. Now that I'm painting it and I see some of the indents are a lot deeper than I thought they were. So instead of it just being padded little squares, I think it's actually a leather jerkin with metal squares sewn onto it like scale mail. Or I guess let me rephrase that. Scale mail, I guess, kind of actually the point of it is that it fits down on top of each other. I actually don't know what you would call this kind of armor, where it's like the plates that kind of sit next to each other. Like in my brain, it would be scale mail, but that's probably incorrect. Yeah, I don't know what you would call this. Man, it's a stream of things that I don't know what to call them today. From livery to Ron Jeremy to all kinds of stuff. Yeah. All right. We are making progress, making progress. Would probably like this to have two coats, so during the cleanup stage, we will probably do two coats of this red for this guy. Although, I don't know. We'll see how it dries and go from there. I'm assuming for a lot of these guys, you're probably supposed to put the arms like all the way up in the sleeve. It's like you can kind of see how there's like a bunch of extra sleeve up above his arm. I bet you're supposed to put the arm all the way at the top, so then it's like as he's moving his arm, he's lifting the shirt up. I didn't do that in some of these now that I think about it, so yeah, you can see I kind of just put them where I thought the pose would make sense, but I bet you I was supposed to do that other thing I just said. Okay, so there's his red, and then he'll get a matching red shield as well. There we go. Yeah, shield's definitely going to need a second coat. All right. And then I guess let's paint in the, let's see, let's paint in the blue on this guy, I guess. And we'll let them sit a little bit, and then we will do all their leather. Giggity. Yeah, we'll do all their leather after they sit for a little while. And we'll do the washes on those bases, on those tokens, while they sit. Now I could try to make these like symmetrical, the shields and stuff. Honestly, I think they kind of look cooler if they're not. Right? It's like these guys are, you know, they don't really know what like real knights and stuff are supposed to look like, right? They're just trying to remember what it looked like from a battle one time. Yeah, like maybe they saw a knight on a battlefield like years ago, and they're trying to recall what his gear looked like, you know. Could also do this guy's helmet in blue, but I guess nah. All right. Okay, cool. So let's touch up. God, I can't even stick to my own goddamn plans. Let's touch up the skin on these though while this paint is still wet. And we'll just do a second layer of skin on these. Because then I don't have to worry about it later and it's just done. Go. That way I don't have to get the skin cone all the way out again later. Can. There we go. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, we'll let them sit. We'll do some. Let's do a little bit of wash on these. Um, I think we'll actually we'll do like a 50-50 strong tone. So this is Army Painter strong tone and Army Painter speed wash medium or speed paint medium. I like the speed paint medium better than the wash medium, to be honest, for this kind of stuff. I think it makes it more flowy than the actual wash medium does. So, we'll just kind of slap this all over everything. Make it kind of grimy and dingy. And then we'll let these set for a little bit, and then we will break out the texture paints for their bases. And we will do those together as well. My goal is to have these all done, minus I'll probably put a little bit of grass on the base as well. But you guys aren't going to get to see that because the texture paint's going to take forever to set. But my goal is to have these guys all done and the other guys ready for washes, but I'm going to let them set for a bit before I call it streaming today. But yeah, I just wanted to stream a little extra since I'm home because it's a holiday. I was, God, I say this every stream, but I was going to play a game, but then I was like, you know what? I really want to paint these things, and that way I'll have them. Also, I kind of want to delay, and I think I'm going to start a new one-page rules campaign. Because there's actually new rules coming out for Age of Fantasy. There's like Age of Fantasy 2.0 kind of update rules coming out. And I think it changes some of the balancing and adds a whole bunch more stuff to it. So I think I want to, I'll probably actually wait and start a new campaign when that happens. YouTube channel called Hobby Homies. I was talking about it. So I think I will probably hold off on my campaign until then. And then we'll put together a couple heroes and see what we can get up to, like we did with the sci-fi one. All right, now everybody isn't going to actually have the same color boots and the same color belts. However, I think it looks cool and it ties the models together. So it's something I do in all my models, even though they probably would not have the same color boots and the same color belts. But I think it helps tie them together, especially when we do this kind of like rabble style painting where like we have a color palette, but it um it varies from model to model, what color every individual piece is. Um, so the end of his thing there is metal. But I'm going to paint it like leather for now in case I forget about coming back and hitting that with metal. But yeah, just picking out his leathers, giggity. Go. Yeah, see like things like this knife hilt here, that I'm going to have to come back and hit with metal anyway, so I'll try to remember to do the sword too. And it looks like he's got some like baubles and stuff hanging off his belt too. Like ropes and things all down in there. Okay, cool. All right, well that's his leathers basically done. Trying to miss anything. Yeah, that's been basically done. Let's grab a little bit of gold and we'll hit some of the like baubles and shit that he has real quick. And that's one, and then guess that's actually the only one he has. Okay. All right, yeah, I guess he gets one little bauble. All right, what we got for this guy? Same kind of thing. He's got boots without the fur, and then he's got just some leathers and some belts and stuff. So we'll probably have to come back and hit all of the buckles and stuff on the belts too. So we will have to break that silver out again for sure. But we're probably going to have to break every color back out anyway when we go back and do all the cleanup. So, because I have not been particularly neat. But these do paint up really nice, these victrix guys. They paint up really nice. If I was a historical gamer, and I'm really not, I would be all over these. I mean, they're great for fantasy. I think you get a lot of the guys too. I think like one of their big bags, I think is like $50. You get like 60 dudes in it. I sure as hell don't need that many fucking, you know, like shithead mercenary guys, but I imagine someone probably does playing some kind of big game. I just don't play games that are that big. I tend to play a lot more like skirmish games. I know they have like a skirmish game ones too, but I haven't looked at them yet. They seem to be made out of like kits, multiple kits kind of put together. It seems kind of cool, but I haven't got in there. Been busy with other things. Okay, that's all his boots done. And leather's done. Okay. We got one more. This guy's got that big, like, fancy machete, which might be called a Dane knife. I don't know. I know there is a thing called a Dane knife. There's also a Dane axe, which has that weird curved head on it. Why it's called a Dane axe, I don't know. I guess because it came from the Danes. Why it has the curved head, I don't know. But like, where is he? Who the fuck is the axe guy? There he is. Like, this is a Dane axe. And I think this is a Dane knife. The big, like, machete thing. I think that's a Dane knife, but don't quote me on it. So I think what's on this guy's hip here is a Dane knife. Alright, I gotta get a little more brown out. Go. Some of his belts and stuff done as well. Go. And I could do like the edges of all these belts, like they're chipped leather or something. And that would probably look really cool. But I don't think it's really gonna like pay off because I am gonna multi-base these guys. So like seeing I don't know, seeing a whole bunch of minis on one base, you kind of don't see a lot of like the tiny little details, even if they're painted on. At least in my opinion, I don't. So like, I don't think I'm gonna make a worry about it. Maybe I'll do it for the guy with the Dane axe, because I don't think I'm gonna multi-base him. I think him and the monk guy are gonna be independent. All right, let me touch up the red on this guy real quick. And then we are pretty much good to start touching colors up on all of these guys, to be honest. So what I might do is I might just pick a model and start there. And have everything kind of go from there. All right, this guy needs his hair painted too. So we can do that too. We can also do his hair. Okay, so let's give him yellow hair. Sulfur oxide. Hold on. Let me grab a yellow. That's too yellow. Oh, shit. Oh, there we go. Burnt turf. A nice kind of blondie kind of hair. Okay. Okay. Let's see. He's got a whole bunch of curly hair up in his hat here. There it goes. And he's got a little bit of beard. There we go. Doesn't really seem to have a mustache. So, he might not even have that beard, so I might have just painted that on with extra. But, he's got beard now, baby. Yeah. Alright. Well, that's that. We need to touch up the ash gray, so we'll do that on him. And so as we pull this out, we'll do it in the same. We'll do the same color on the other guy too. We'll touch up. We'll kind of go around and touch that up as we go on each guy. So this guy needs a little bit of ash gray touch up, just here and there, just to make sure we have nice coverage and to fix up any errors and stuff. All right, so there's a little bit of red bleeding over there. There we go. Alright, and then this guy has ash gray pants, so we can touch his pants up too at the same time. And it'll mean that as we go around, every model will have less and less touch up to do. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's actually hit the end of his belt there in gold if I still have some. I do. Or don't. Guess I don't have enough. Okay. Well, I guess that means we need to do the touch up on the silver, so let's do that before we forget about it. Shit, it's a lot of silver I just got out. We'll do the tip of his weapon just to make sure it's done. We'll do this sword here. Do the end of his belt buckle there. Another belt buckle in there. All right, see there's a little bit of bleed over from the red. So we'll hit that as well. We'll go back and touch that again. There we go. Okay. All right, that's that red taken care of. Honestly, he's looking pretty damn good. We have to do. Let's do this silver on everybody else, and then he needs wood still. So we'll touch up the wood on everybody after that. So I'm gonna hit the boss on this guy's shield a little because I feel like I got a little bit too much on it. There we go. The end of his sword scabbard. There we go. This little dagger on his hip here. Right. Then he's got some kind of belt buckle right there. And yeah. And double check his helmet. His helmet's looking good. Okay, cool. All right, next but not least, with the silver on this guy. This guy is like all silver, so it's kind of funny. This chainmail is sculpted really deeply. Means it's probably going to look cool for washes. But it definitely does have a different look than a lot of other minis that have chainmail. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's all his silver touched up. And since I got out way too much goddamn silver, we're going to slap some on some more of these chainmail guys real quick. Just so it doesn't go to waste. There we go. Just because we don't want to waste it, we can choose not to, you know? Alright, now, our wood, I'm going to use Brigandine Brown. It's this guy here. It is a very dark brown. I'm a big fan of this color for a lot of different things. I don't usually use it for brown, but for wood, but I usually use lighter browns for wood. But I've kind of used all the lighter browns on all their clothes. So that means I need something that's a different color. Thank you, Victrix, for sculpting the hand actually shut and not partially open where you can see a little bit of the stick inside the hand like GW does. Because that drives me fucking bonkers, and it's obnoxious to paint. So thank you for that. Could also do some things like maybe this hilt here. After watches, I don't know if that'll stand out. And I really should do the backs of the shields. Why am I doing this? No one is ever going to see it. But I'll know if I don't do it, so... yeah, we'll do the backs of the shields too. They do have really nice wood texture sculpture on them. There we go. All right. And that is our first Dane ready for washes pretty much. There he is. He is all ready for washes. Maybe he will get washes today. We'll see. We'll see how far we get. See how long we take doing texture paint. Because it was kind of cold and rainy this morning out here in Hawaii, which means that it's going to be kind of a humid afternoon. It'll be kind of uncomfortable. So, because the afternoon heat's starting now, so it's going to be a little uncomfortable, and it also means that stuff's not going to dry super well. Like these paints are already not drying as quickly as I normally would out here. So, yeah. So we probably won't get to washes on these guys today, unfortunately. So I think we're already over an hour anyway. Just doing these 3 guys, and there's 5 tokens. All right. All right. All right. And last but not least, we can do the wood on this guy. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Oh, so many wonderful out of contact raises. So let's see. There we go. Painting in his shaft. Giggity. And we'll do the back of his shield too. All I'm not being particularly precious about the backs of the shields. So if I get a little here or there, that's fine. Well, they don't get it on the guy, I don't care. Right. Again, this is one of those details that you're just not going to see. Right. Especially on a guy holding his shield this close to his body. There we go. All right. Let's see. What else does he need? Oh, he needs a mustache. No, he's got a mustache. We got to paint in. Nice. There we go. There's our second guy all done. Ready for his washes. And I think we'll actually do this guy's hair in black too, to be honest. Just because I've got it out. Hell yeah, brother! And that giant mustache makes me think of Hulk Hogan. Well, I guess his mustache was white, right? It's really interesting when he died, just learning how many people fucking hated him. And apparently all the other wrestlers like hated Hulk Hogan. Not even like jokingly, like they like actually disliked him because he was apparently a giant dickhead. It's kind of interesting stuff. All right. Okay, so that's that guy done too. So that's all three of our Danes that aren't really Danes. They're fantasy mercs. All done up there. And they're just going to chill and dry for a bit, and then they will get washes. I think I like this guy the most, just because I think the hooded head is cool. I'm going to go ahead and put them off to the side, and we'll do some texture paint on these bases. Okay, to the texture paint. Oh, this brush is had a whole lot of stuff on it that I guess I forgot to wipe off. It'll do for now. But yeah, just gonna go ahead, plop it all on there. And I'm not going to be particularly precious about any part of it because I kind of want it to build up a little bit here and there where it can and fill in the gap a little bit. And I also want it to do the whole rim. So it's like this is almost like a piece of terrain and not a miniature base. Like that. There we go. Da-da-da-da. And we just repeat that a couple of times. And then these will get grass flocking, which I've done a bunch of times on the channel before. Just hitting it with watered down PVA where I want the grass flocking to go. And then plopping it on there. The flocking from Woodland Scenics. Big props to everyone that makes their own flocking, but that's a bridge too far for me. All the people that make it like go to like the like wood cutteries or whatever and get like the sawdust and then dye it and like sift it and that whole thing, like more power to you if you do that, but man, that's too much for me. I know you can make all kinds of cool custom stuff, and I know it's really cheap and all that, but no, I'm content to buy my flocking from Woodland Scenics and just deal with whatever colors I can get. Because making my own is that's a little too much for me. There's another one all done. Let me put the done ones on the camera and the undone ones off of it. Yeah. And after this dries, I will probably hit the dirt with like a dry brush of that khaki that we were using earlier. I'll probably use that, hit it with a dry brush, and then I will flock it like I mentioned, right? Just with the Woodland Scenics flock and some watered down white glow, some Elmer's glow, some PVA glow. And then they'll get top coated. And for my top coat, I just use the clear from, it's like 2X clear or something. And it is a fantastic top coat. They used to make one called Dead Flat. And it was my favorite top coat. I actually bought like a legitimate case of it from Home Depot, but then they stopped selling it. At least they stopped selling it out here in Hawaii. I can't get it anymore. So I used the 2x clear matte flat or whatever it's called. I think it's just called flat. And it does a nice job. It's not so matte like some of the modeling ones are. Like I love Army Painter's stuff. I do not like their top coat. Their top coat is just too matte for me. Man, that one I got the mud on everything. That one's like extra muddy. Because the problem with matte is that it can kill your metals if it is too matte and just make them not look like metal anymore. So yeah, and I feel like the Army Painter spray does that. That's why I stopped buying it. There we go. All right, and that's all of our. What if it's a kilt in that livery? Then you need to paint tartan, and that's a fate worse than death. I've seen people paint tartan, and yeah, I'm not doing that. Tartan is that like line and stripe kilt pattern stuff. It's like white lines and black lines and like a color. And yeah, that ain't happening. Yeah, the people that have that heritage usually have like a specific like family color one, which is kind of cool too. But ain't happening, man. That is too far out there painting for me. All right, so there's our what are they called? Our loot tokens for Frostgrave. And these are our guys that we finished up. They don't have washes still, but we got all their base coats in at least. And the Victrix guys are really nice. They're really cool. I'll definitely consider getting some more Victrix stuff in the future. There's like a Rust kit and like a Viking kit that looks pretty cool. They also have the like pillage sets that are I think just coming out or are going to come out soon, and they look really nice too. I don't know when they'll come to the U.S. though, because of all of our wonderful shenanigans that are going on. So a lot of those have been stopped shipping, so I don't know when they'll come to the U.S. But hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good one. Um, and I hope you enjoy your Labor Day if you are celebrating. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next Sunday for something totally different.